quick Devar Torah. This week's Parsha, of course, deals with Metzora, with Tazria Metzora. And we always think of this as, it's translated as leprosy. It's not leprosy. It's not a physical disease, as we know physical diseases. Because the Torah doesn't say go to a doctor. It says go to the Kohen at that time. If this was leprosy, we'd tell you to go to a doctor. So it's obviously a spiritual disease. And what our sages said, that this is a disease that is caused by Lashon hara, by evil speech. Yes, and who would do that? We have to know that Lashon hara is big business. The New York Post has page 6, which is nothing but Lashon hara. And there are other magazines, People, Us. These magazines are nothing but Lashon hara. And people buy them, and they're very successful magazines. So basically, the Torah is telling us to be careful about Lashon hara, because Lashon hara destroys you from the inside. And this disease looks like leprosy, so to speak. And what happens is it first afflicts your house, and then it afflicts your things, and then it afflicts you. So in other words, and you have to leave the community when this happens. You have to be outside the community for 7 days. In other words, it's a period of getting yourself adjusted. You did something, you have to atone for it. And as we know, Lashon hara can be very bad. One of the things that's going on today with AI is somebody posted something of theirs, and somebody with AI comes along and makes them sound, makes them say things that they maybe didn't say, but they're using their images. These are things that we have to be aware of. But the problem with Lashon hara, by the way, it is true. Everything you say is true. It's just said in a negative way. I would say that Joe Schmo, and this could be caused by something. I could say Joe Schmo is a very successful person. And then somebody else says, yeah, but you know how he got that success? And begins to denounce him. So in other words, Lashon hara is true, but it's done negatively to bring negative results. And when you deal in negativity, you end up in a whole world of negative thoughts, something we should avoid, something to think about.